Okay, guys, we're here at Knoxville, nighttime. I am going to choose the Knoxville default set. And you can say it's already started at -8 on the wing. I'm going to drop that all the way down to 0. You want to try to run as less wing as possible. You're just faster that way. Now, the car might get loose. You got 30 gallons, and it's 486 gear. I'm going to drop that down to Q fuel for 3 and run a Q run. When you're running Q, you really don't want any wing. You really don't want any wing. Top angle of the wing, you really want it to be 24, as low as possible. That's less drag. Might be a handful, but you gotta man up and just run some laps and get used to it. So I'm going to start my run. Now Knoxville has this berm right here that you drop off, and this is in the corners as it dissipates in the straights. So if you have to merge back up onto the track to get off the track, you'll notice the berm is not there, but it's a significant berm in the corners. And when you're racing, you don't want to get on this. This is bad juju. So we're gonna do a Q lap here.
As we're starting to get closer to our pit stop, start thinking about your entry to pit road. We think we might be losing a little bit there. That was a good little run there. Go ahead and bring it in to pit this time.
All right, so we did a few laps Q run. And you notice I go high on the corner exit. You want to try to keep the car as straight as possible. Like I said, I got 0 wing at this time. And when you're coming in the corner, see this berm right here, you want to be right on the inside of this. When you're coming in the corner, you want to try to keep the car as straight as possible. Now with the stagger, the car's going to want to turn, so it's going to want to rotate on you, but try to keep it as straight as possible, and you're going to drift out to the wall. And as you get right to the K where the Knoxville is, you want to come back in, and this car is going to start drifting, and you want these front tires close to this berm as possible in the corner, but keeping the car straight. Now you're going to be sideways a little bit, but you want to try to keep it as straight as possible, because the more angle on the car, more drag, which
there's no reason for that. I don't understand that.
Less time, so you want to try to keep the car as straight as possible. All right, so we're going to kind of go over the laps. All right, so I'm going to pause it here. All right, so we're in cockpit view here, and I'm going to slow it down. Okay. You can see him coming into the corner, And like I said, the stagger, the car, you don't have to put too much steering input into the wheel because it's going to start to rotate on you. And basically, you want to counter steer, almost kind of turning the wheel to the right to counter steer the rotation of the stagger. So as I'm in the corner, I'm kind of seesawing the wheel a little bit because I want it straight, but yet you still want the car to rotate. And as I come out of the corner, you can see that I don't want to go too close to the wall, but you want to let the car drift out to the wall because you're carrying a lot of speed. And the more that you force the car back down, you're scrubbing speed. So just like on the oval, when you're running one of the NASCAR, the A, B, C cars, and you're on the oval, you let it drift out to the wall because you don't want to force it down because you're scrubbing speed, forcing it down in the corner. So I'm coming here just to the K of the Knoxville, and I'm going to start rotating the car back into this corner right here. Now remember, there's a berm. You want to try to get as close to that berm as possible. Okay, and still you're trying to keep the car straight. You don't want it to over rotate. And like I said, I've got 0 wing for qualifying. Now, when you go to race and you get full fuel, I usually start out about -3 on the wing. And as fuel burns off, I drop that wing down to 0. That compensates the rear end with the weight because you don't want that rear end just spinning out on you. You got a lot of weight in the rear end, so you want to compensate by putting a little downforce on the rear tires so the tires aren't spinning and you're losing grip. Okay, so I'm cutting this corner and I'm looking as I'm going. I'm not looking where the car is here. I'm kind of looking where I want to go, which is up here, the mid part of that wall. So I'm estimating where I need to turn the wheel. As I'm in the corner, I already know where I want to hit this wall, like right in through here. And like I said, you're seesawing the wheel. You want to try to keep it close to the berm, but as the speed carries you, the car's going to want to carry out to the wall. So you want the car to come out to the wall without hitting it. And again, you're trying to keep the car straight as possible. And with the stagger, it still wants to rotate left. So you kind of have to play with the wheel. Just try to keep it as straight as you can. And then once I get to the flag stand here, I'm already thinking about this corner. I'm going to start rotating and I want to get right on the berm here. As I get towards this flag stand, I'm going to start turning into the corner. And again, when you're in the corner, you're not actually looking at the corner here. You want to kind of look ahead at your corner exit, and you're almost trying to put the car in a position to hit exactly where you want it on the corner exit without avoiding this berm. You definitely don't want to get on top of this berm here. So you're going to almost diamond this corner, hopefully. That's the goal. I mean, you don't want to go all the way around. You want to kind of diamond it and get close to this berm as possible without the front tires going up over it. And on full throttle, I've never lifted. As this track gets slick, see how it's kind of nice and brown here? Later on, as the track wear gets, you'll see these dark patches, and those are slick spots. And if you hit those slick spots while you're full throttle, the car's going to spin out on you. So you almost have to feather the throttle to keep the car going straight instead of rotating. So it's just trial and error. You just got to practice. And it takes time. These cars are a handful. You got a lot of horsepower versus weight ratio. So as I'm coming here, I'm already looking where I want the car to head to. I want it to hit the wall almost kind of between or just before the Knoxville. And as I get there, I'm already thinking about this corner here. So I let the car drift out to the wall because I don't want to scrub speed. And as I get to the K, I'm going to start rotating in towards this berm. And I want the tires, front tires, just on the inside of that berm. And trust me, I've hit it many times, and it just takes practice. And as the track gets slicker, you'll see like a little bit of grip through here, and this will be all dark black. And what you can do is keep the front tire, the left side tires in the grip area and the right side tires in the slick. And you may have to feather the throttle a little bit and actually keep your speed. Like I said, if you hit that slick full throttle, the car's going to spin out on you. And I'm already thinking where I want the car to be on corner exit. And so I'm trying to set the car up as it rotates. I kind of know where I want it on the exit. And I'll go over a race set. I'll put full fuel in it, and I'll kind of show you. As the race goes on, you're going to search for grip. You want to stay completely out of the slick stuff. You may have to be up by the wall or below the slick spot, down by the berm. And you may have to, and as you cross it, when you're coming out of the corner, you'll see that slick, that dark slick spot. You'll be crossing it as you make your corner exit. And like I said, you may have to just feather the throttle a little bit so it doesn't spin out on you. And then when you're racing in it, you can race on the outside of it. Say, put the inside tires in the slick and the right side tires in the grip area, and you'll be fine. Again, you may have to, depending on your setup, how well it is, you may have to feather the throttle as you go into the corner onto the slick part. Now, right now, the track is pretty grippy because it's only got, I think I set it up for 15% wear right now. Okay, it's 12%. But with 20, 30 cars running on it, it'll get slick quick, and you'll see the dark patches in there. Again, I'm rotating the car. I'm full throttle. I've never lifted at all because the track's still got a lot of grip. And I'm going to bring the car right up on this berm again as I make this corner. So you're always wanting, you're anticipating where you want the car to be when you're in the corner. And like I said, you try to keep the car as straight as possible, even though it's slight rotation, but you don't want it sideways because the more you have the car sideways, you're scrubbing speed. You won't have any fast laps. People will be passing you left and right. If it's too loose, add a little wing. That'll straighten you out. And if you have too much wing, you're going to get a push, and you're going to go right up into the wall. Like I said, with full fuel, I usually start out at -3 wing, and then as I burn fuel off, I click it down. I'll go to -2, then -1, and then maybe back to 0. And if it's too slick for me, I may bump the wing back up just to keep some grip in the car because the track will be slick, and you may have to add a little grip by adding more wing. So it's just something you have to practice with, and depends on how well your setup is. If your setup's good, I know a lot of people that run no wing, and they just know how to handle it. Okay, so I'm going to add fuel. Now, like I said, I got 0. I'm going to add 3, -3 wing. This kind of puts a little downforce on the rear tires and it compensates for the weight that's in the rear. So you're not slinging the car all over the place, because without a little bit of wing, the car's going to want to spin out on you in the corner. All right, so as you exit, you kind of want to just exit on the back straight part here where it's flat. I mean, you can go over the berm, but if there's traffic and you're coming out and you're going to blend in, you need to blend in on the back stretch here. So I ran those last couple laps up by the wall. This part through here, you get a lot of, it's still pretty wet, grippy. But like I said, as the race goes on, you got 20, 30 cars running on it. This is all going to start to go away. And in the middle, you're going to see kind of like a black strip. And that's going to be the slicks part, slick part, sorry. And you can run with your left side tires kind of in the slick a little bit and run on the outside lane, and keep the right side tires in the grippy part up here by the wall. Or you can come low, you know, you're going to have to get close to the berm, and you're going to run a tighter radius. You keep your left side tires in the grippy part and the right side tires in the slick. Now, as you get into the corner, like I said, you're going to have to kind of feather the throttle as you come into the corner, because that right side is going to be riding in that slick, and it's going to want to spin you out if you try to do it full throttle. And you're going to spin out, or you're going to drift all the way up into the car that's above you. And if you don't know how to run in traffic in a sprint car, you're going to learn real quick. Some people try to do slide jobs on you, and they kind of don't do a great job. They'll take a sharper corner while you take a wide radius, and they come underneath you and drift up in front of you. And the excellent executed slide job would be somebody come out wide by the wall and then cut low in the corner as a car in front of you is taking the wider radius up by the wall, and you slide, and you might have to throttle it up and slide right up in front of him and not lose any momentum. Some people will do a crappy slide job, and they'll try that, and they'll slide right up into you, which is not how you do it. If you're the one making the pass, you got to make sure that you pass successfully. You don't take yourself out and your opponent. So first you got to finish before you can finish first, right? So that's the objective. During the heat races, the track's going to be fairly grippy and fast. During the B mains, if the track carries over, I'm not sure how Mike is going to do that. I don't think he's going to carry it over. But as it carries over, like I said, the track's going to get really slick, and you're going to have to search for grip. That means you might be running in the middle for a while, in about 10 laps, then you might have to move up to the wall. And I mean right by the wall. And if you don't know how to run by the wall, you need to learn, because this is where the speed's going to be. You're going to have to learn how to just kind of throttle it as you come into the corner, let the car rotate, and that right rear tire is going to be like right up against the wall as you're coming through the corner. So dirt racing is a lot different than pavement racing. I mean, there are some similarities, but the dirt just changes everything. Okay, so here I'm running some race. This is race fuel, and I got 3 negative wings. And as you can see, I'm running up by the wall. And like I said, as the race progresses, this might be the grip area, the top by the wall. So you got to learn how to run up by the wall and not hit it. So you definitely need some practice. And again, as the track starts to get slicker, you're going to have to search for grip. Like I said, 10 laps into it, typically the low part near the berm is the fast part going into the corners, and then 10 laps after that, that'll get so slick you may have to move to the middle. And then once that is done, then you have to move to the top. And then you're searching, then you have to move back down to the middle. So, with the track dynamic, and I don't know what this new build's going to do for the track. As far as I've heard, I race with a lot of the dirt pro drivers, and I haven't heard anything about geometry changes or chassis changes. I know we've got a new track coming out, Kokomo, and I know they're working on track dynamics. So the way the track builds up is probably going to change. But as far as geometry and the chassis of the sprint car, I have not heard anything. So that's still up in the air. So we'll see. So if you go to your garage, I'm just using a default iRacing set. I dropped the top wing to 24. That's just less drag on the car. I mean, you can go all the way up if you want, but you're not going to be as fast. Full fuel, like I said, I start out with -3, and then say 10 laps into a race, especially like the A main, I'll start clicking down. I'll go -3, -2, -1, try to get it to 0, and just manhandle it. But if it's too slick, I'm going to go back up. You know, so, and you can play around with your gearing. There's a lot of stuff you can do. I really, to be honest with you, I really don't. I'm still learning the sprint car as far as setting things up, but I know there's a lot of things you can do with the stagger, the tire pressures, and the springs to help the car rotate in the corner or even less rotation. So that's about it in the nutshell. I mean, the car's a handful. You definitely need to get some practice laps in and learn the car and learn how to adjust the top wing. You have an in-car adjustment. You can lower it. So when you're in the car, I've got my adjustment set on the wheel. If you'll watch the top part wing, you can see it move down, all the way back, all the way down. And you can go to scroll through your F buttons. And there's an in-car adjustment there in your F buttons, and I'm not sure which one it is, but as you click on it, you can see it go to 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, all the way to 10. Okay, and when you're running 10, this car's going to be so tight that you're going to put a lot of steering wheel input in it, and it's going to want to push out to the wall. So you got to be very careful. I mean, sure, you can run -10, but you're going to be slow as hell. People are going to be passing you. Now, see, I rotated the wheel and it still wanted it pushed out into the wall. So you got to be careful with -10. I don't ever run -10. That's just too much.